gang? We are live and we are here to discuss some tweaks you can make to your everyday nutrition so that you are getting a better benefit on your fat loss journey. So we're going to talk about some swaps that are lower calorie, higher in protein, and very simple swaps that you can make every day. And one of the big reasons why I have been able to maintain the physique that I have for so long without even thinking about it is simply because these are daily habits that I do. So I'm going to go through a few categories and we'll talk through some swaps. If you have any questions or any recommendations, anything you want me to touch on, go ahead and put them in the comment section or the chat and we'll touch on them later. So without further ado, let us jump in. So I got my notes here. First thing first, you know me on this journey to start eating meat again. What I have found is I am obsessed with eggs. However, keep in mind, my goal is not to lose body fat. My goal is actually to put on weight. So while I'm having 4 whole eggs, you in your fat loss journey probably shouldn't be doing that. And here's why. 1 whole egg is going to have a lot more calories, typically twice as many as an egg white. What I've seen, is it's about 100-ish calories for your whole egg, and it's about 17 calories for your egg white. You're still going to get the same amount of, or similar amount of protein, but you're going to get a lot more, or a lot fewer calories out of it. So you can do, instead of having 4 whole eggs like I have, what you could do then is have 1 whole egg and 3 egg whites so that you get that like really rich, delicious taste from the whole egg yolk without all of the calories that come with it. So you could do this in an omelet and disguise it really well too. Because a lot of the time the problem with egg whites that people don't like as much is because they just don't taste as good. They're not as fatty. But fat comes with calories. So instead of 4 whole eggs, do 1 or 2 whole eggs and then 2 or 3 egg whites to give you the same amount of protein for less calories. Another thing that I love to swap out, I haven't had sour cream in ages because I'll just do Greek yogurt instead. If you do non-fat, that's going to be even less calories. But with your non-fat Greek yogurt, unflavored is going to taste exactly like sour cream. Yes, it sounds suspicious, but if you get that, and then you can also, instead of like your typical sugary yogurt, it's going to have a lot of like preservatives and a lot of artificial flavors in there. Instead, continue to get that unflavored Greek yogurt, and then you can add honey or vanilla extract, cinnamon. I did that in my breakfast this morning, and it's so delicious without all of the extra BS calories that come with it. So another thing is, instead of using heavy cream, you could do soy milk, which is a dairy-free option, or you could even just blend up cottage cheese because it has really the same structure that heavy cream has. The only difference is it's just curdled, right? That's what cottage cheese is. So it will just have more protein and less calories than heavy cream. Another thing you could do is, instead of cream cheese, you could do cottage cheese as well. Blend it up, or like on a bagel, just put cream cheese instead of, just put cottage cheese instead of cream cheese. Another thing you can do, like, there's kind of pros and cons to getting fat-free stuff, right? You need fat in your diet. So if you have fat-free everything, you need to then make sure, especially us women, we need to have fat to support our menstrual cycles. So you need to make sure that if you are getting fat-free or reduced fat everything, you're getting that fat supplemented elsewhere, whether you're cooking with butter, having oil, nuts, avocado, what have you. Make sure you're getting your fats. But if you do want to save calories, you can get the non-fat or reduced fat version of cheeses. Just make sure that you're not getting a whole bunch of BS added in there too, because sometimes they'll put additives and stuff that are not going to help you. And unrelated, but I would love to recommend that if you are going to get a shredded cheese, don't, and just shred it at home by yourself, and then you can shred it ahead of time for the week, or just top it on every meal, because they put preservatives in that shredded cheese to keep it shredded. So let's move on to some meat and protein sources. So instead of like your 80-20 ground beef, doing extra lean like 90-10 or even 96-4 is going to be much better option. Or you can do ground turkey, which 93-7 ground turkey is a great option. And when I say 93-7 or 80-20, what does that mean? It means it's a percentage of fat, right? So your 90-10 is going to have a lot less fat than your 80-20. Instead of doing a breaded chicken, you could do grilled or air fried chicken breasts. One thing that I found that worked really well is utilizing, Aldi had these protein breadcrumbs one time. Or another thing you could do, TVP is texturized vegetable protein. It's a soy-based product, but they just essentially dehydrate soy protein and it creates these flakes. And you can bread your stuff in that, and it has zero fat and 2 grams of carbohydrates for like 20 grams of protein. I think it's 17 grams of protein for every serving of TVP. And you can bread your chicken and bread your meats in that instead of like just a breadcrumb with empty calories. Hi, Cherie. So then, other things we could do. Instead of doing deli meat, it's going to have a lot of sodium. It's going to have a lot more calories. You can do sliced chicken. You could do sliced turkey breast. I would always 100% of the time recommend, instead of buying the pre-sliced stuff, if you can at all possible, go to the delicatessen and have I don't know what they would be called. Are they a butcher back there? The deli worker. Have them slice you some fresh slices because they will have less preservatives and it'll be fresh. You can get some fresh sliced turkey for like a deli sandwich for way better quality by doing that. It will probably be more expensive, but that's your trade-off. Everything has pros and cons, right? Other things. Rather than regular sausage, you could do chicken sausage or turkey sausage to save on fat but still get that protein. Another thing, you've probably seen cauliflower rice. You could definitely substitute cauliflower rice for white rice, or you could even do a half and half mix. So save some calories, and it'll still be satisfying. Now, this option does not necessarily add protein, but little hack for you, if you cook your rice in a bone broth, it will absorb the protein from the bone broth, and boom. Protein without even having to think about it, and it adds a lot of richness and flavor too. Other things, flour tortillas, fine, but a low-carb tortilla may potentially have less calories depending on what kind of low-carb tortilla it is. There are also high-protein tortillas that are out there. You can make them yourself so simply. One recipe I saw, I think it's cooking with or cooking for peanuts. She's a vegan chef or vegan dietitian. She's excellent. But she makes these lentil wraps herself. So you cook lentils and then you just blend them and then you literally pour them into a pan and it creates a high-protein, high-fiber lentil wrap. Boom, homemade, no BS, no canola oil, we're good. I'm going to actually try and make some of those and see how that goes. Other options, instead of your white bread or your whole wheat bread or your Sara Lee, throw that shit in the trash. Instead, we could do Ezekiel bread. I'm a big proponent of sourdough. I think it's Lactobacillus is the bacteria in there, and it's actually very healthy for you. So sourdough is great to consume, and it does have more protein than white bread does. Better macros, better quality ingredients, better micronutrients. So you know your macros, protein, carbs, and fats, but your micronutrients are all your vitamins and minerals. Make sure you're keeping that in mind because macros are going to change how you look, but your micronutrients are going to change how your insides function and look and feel. Hi, Colby. Thank you for joining us. What's up, dude? So another thing, pasta, right? I'm Italian, baby. We love pasta in this house, okay? However, other options potentially could be protein pasta like chickpea or lentil pasta. There are also pasta options that are better than others in my opinion. So like a linguine, I would say like a gnocchi. They have potato gnocchi or there's potato gnocchi, or what's the other one? Whatever. Gnocchi will have a little bit higher protein in there as well. But making sure that you're looking at the calories and the protein on the label of your pastas. I'm also a big fan, and I don't know the name of the noodle, sorry to my ancestors, but it's the really big noodle with a big old hole in the middle, and you can stuff it with sauce and whatever. Salivating. Okay, anyway. Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining us. What's up, girl? So, another one is croutons. Again, my Italian ass loves some croutons, but a lot of empty calories there. They're great. Thank you, Laura. It is rigatoni. Thank you. But the roasted chickpeas are going to be a good option for your crouton. And what you could do is do chickpeas, mash them up, put them in the oven, boom. I did see somebody make a like protein cornbread, and then all they did was just like let the bread go kind of stale and then put that in the oven, and it became like a crouton. So remember, your crouton is any kind of bread. So you could even take your Ezekiel bread and make a crouton out of that too. Homemade is always the best option in my opinion. There are some other good options out there. So like for snacks then, some things that we could do to lower calories and still get some high protein. We can swap some potato chips for different options. I personally am not the biggest fan of a lot of protein chips out there because I find there's a lot of other stuff in them that I don't love. Mostly being like artificial flavoring and some colors and dyes, but there are also some good protein chips out there. So just remember, we talked about food labels. Don't just look at something that says high protein and think it's good for you. Make sure that you're looking at the actual ingredients. But protein chips are okay. Air popped popcorn is great, or even homemade popcorn. Like stovetop popcorn is a great option instead of potato chips. You could even do like really just not the microwave bags. They just have a lot of other additives and stuff in there that's just not going to make you feel good, and it's not going to help you with your fat loss journey. The other thing that I'd like to say is you can make anything a chip. So I've seen people make like chicken chips or cottage cheese chips, and what they do is just like make it into their patty, make it really thin, and then bake them, and then they're baked chips. Baked chips are also a good option too in lieu of those like oil-soaked fried potato chips. So I'm salivating as I'm talking about these things, but ice cream is a huge one. Protein ice cream is a really great option. So like Halo Top is a good brand. You can also do it homemade with Greek yogurt. Again, I'm a huge fan of getting just like the tub of the unflavored so that you can use it for your sour cream and for your sweet stuff. And then all you have to do is add like honey or a 0-calorie sweetener like stevia or monk fruit. And then some vanilla extract, some cinnamon, flavor it up however makes it feel good. And then you can add berries for some fiber in there too. That's a great option. I also am a big proponent for fruit ice cream. So one thing I love to do is freeze bananas and get some frozen mango and put those in a blender. You can even add some soy milk, or you could add some Greek yogurt to that, or cottage cheese, and that will give you even more protein in that as well. So several options. Bye, Colby. See you later. Thanks for joining. So yes, now chocolate. Girl, we love chocolate in this house. So here's the dealio, and I just got off my group coaching call with my girls, and we talked about this. Big thing to keep in mind is chocolate is not bad. What is potentially bad or not great for your fat loss journey is all the extra sugars and like fat and calories that's in a lot of these chocolate bars out there. And again, natural flavors and stuff like that. So when we're talking about chocolate bars, like homemade again is always going to be the best option. Trader Joe's has these dairy-free chocolate chips that are like dark chocolate, and they're so good. They've got a good amount of magnesium in them, so it makes it even more beneficial for around your period. And in our group chat, my girl Cherie from my one-on-one coaching program, she has created this high-protein banana split bark. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some frozen banana, we're going to put some nut butter on it, we're going to put some Greek yogurt in there, we're going to freeze it, and we're going to cover it in chocolate, and it's a banana split. Heck yes, sister. So we'll do that. What else did I want to say about chocolate? You can cover anything in it. And something that's really good to satisfy your sweet tooth is chocolate-covered strawberries made at home, especially with those dark chocolate chips to help with the magnesium and other micronutrients to help you with your cramps and stuff on that time. So here's a hack for candy too. I'm sure you've heard like frozen grapes. Those are a great option. Protein bark, like what I just discussed, is a great option for a candy bar swap. So you could do several ways you could do this. You could add protein powder, or if you're like me and kind of trying to get away from powders and trying to use more whole food ingredients, what you could do then is lay out, like melt your chocolate, lay it out, drizzle in some Greek yogurt, and again, add your honey or vanilla or whatever to flavor it so it doesn't taste like sour cream. And then you can add whatever else on there. You could put a little sprinkle of nuts, some pistachios, nut butter. But again, remember, nut butter has more calories, so just be wary. One way you could do this too is getting that PB Fit, which is like the much lower calorie, low fat version of peanut butter, and it's a powder. And then you can put that on the protein bark to make it a like high protein thing. That's a good option. Hi, honey bun. Mateo, my man's just joined. What's up? So those are good options. And then instead of sugary cereal, listen, I can go insane on a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios. But the problem is there's not a lot going on in Honey Nut Cheerios that is going to fill you up or satiate you or help you with your fat loss journey. So instead of doing your Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Captain Crunch or Cookie Crisp or Count Chocula, all those things that are going to have a lot of preservatives, all those things that are going to have a lot of fake ingredients, food dyes, colorings, things that are not going to help you, not just in your fat loss journey, but also just not good for your body in general. That's a discussion for a whole other time. But instead of doing those, we need to swap them for other options. And here's what I'll say. There are cereals that are, again, not perfect, but much better because instead of using food dyes, they're utilizing dyes that occur naturally. So like beet juice for a red color, carrot juice for an orange color. Make sure you are reading the ingredients label and you're not just seeing the high protein on the front and going, cool, this is healthy. No, it likely is not, because that is called marketing, and they know you're trying to get more protein because you want to be healthy, and they're going to extort that so that they can make money. That's my tinfoil hat for the day. So, with that being said, Catalina Crunch from Costco is not the worst option ever. I don't love it a lot, but it is like a lower carbohydrate, lower sugar option. I would rather you have Catalina Crunch than Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Magic Spoon is a good one too. And again, Trader Joe's has a lot of those good options without dyes. And here's something really good to talk about too, is soda. Ladies and gentlemen, especially the ladies, do you know what soda is? Soda is typically high fructose corn syrup that has been carbonated with a bunch of other colors and flavors. Does that sound like it's something that's good for your gut or your brain or your body or your fat loss? No, likely not. So rather than doing a soda, like, I get it. I'm someone that doesn't even like soda, so this has never been an issue for me. If you're a soda girly and you're like, if I have to sacrifice soda, I don't want to live, relax, first of all. But also, if you really need it, a diet soda is going to be the better option. If you think about what diet soda is, it's zero sugar. So they're using sweeteners instead of using regular corn syrup or sugar, which honestly, I would rather you have pure sugar than a corn syrup because it's just highly processed sugar. However, if you look at a can of soda, it typically is going to have more than 30 grams of sugar. You're supposed to get 25 to 30 grams of sugar in one single day. And if you're having several sodas throughout the day, you're getting several days worth of sugar and it's going to mess you the F up. So a diet soda like Diet Coke will have something like aspartame or what's another sweetener? Like sucralose is something you might see in there too. Keep in mind with these sweeteners, artificial sweeteners potentially have been linked to different medical issues like cardiovascular health and stuff like that. I am not a scientist, and truthfully, I am not an expert at reading data. So what I will say is do your own research. But for me, hearing that is a little bit suspicious, and I don't like soda that much anyway, so I'm just going to stay away. Options that I would say are the best would be like Zevia, which uses stevia, which is a naturally occurring plant to sweeten. That's a good option, and it's 0 calorie and 0 sugar, and it doesn't have quite the same impact on your blood glucose levels throughout the day, which is going to help you manage cravings. Other options are like Poppi, I love a good poppy. They have they use stevia and they have live probiotics in there, so it's not just empty calories. It's actually helping your gut, and with the carbonation, that's going to help you as well. Other things, I'm going to break your heart with this one, especially the gym girlies on here, is the sugary energy drinks are not helping you do anything. I don't care if it's Celsius. I don't care if it's your Alani. I don't care if it's your Reign. It's definitely your Monster and Red Bull. You know what you're doing when you're in there. Even if they're sugar-free, let's be real, like the stuff in there is just not what you want to be putting in your body. Yes, I will say if you like need that in your life, a Celsius is going to be better than a Coca-Cola, right? Or a Monster. But keep in mind, I need you to look at the ingredients label on these things and not just look at 0 sugar, 0 calorie and go, awesome. Make sure you're paying attention to what's in them. Juice is typically empty calories. If we're talking about like orange juice, like yes, there will be some vitamin C, but a lot of time there's so much sugar added that it rips away all really the benefit that you're getting out of it. So Sunny D, come on, be serious. That's not a fruit juice. That's a fruit flavored juice. And if you look at a lot of the Ocean Spray, you'll see on the label, on the ingredients label, % juice. Sometimes it's 0% juice. What the F is a cranberry juice if there's 0% juice in it? Tell me. Sugar syrup, corn syrup, that's what you're drinking. Do we want to have that in our bodies? No, we effing don't. So instead of doing like one of those sugary juice options, which you would rather do, first of all, if you are going to do a juice, make sure it's actually like at least 80% juice on the back so that you know, or even like really 60, because if it's just water that's in there, sure. But you want to make sure the juice you are getting is actually juice and not just corn syrup flavored juice, right? Also, another good option could be a sparkling water with like a splash of lemon. My go-to drink is water, Celtic sea salt, lemon, and a little bit of honey, and it's kind of like a natural electrolyte mix, and that helps. If you hate it, an electrolyte powder is going to be better most likely than a regular juice, because at least it's going to hydrate you and not just be empty sugar. Also, sorry, I love a McDonald's sweet tea. Girl, there's like 60 grams of sugar in that, which by the way, I didn't mention this, but your can of Coke, your 20-ounce bottle of Coke has 72 grams of sugar in it. Girl, you're supposed to have 30 in a day max. Just let that sit with you. You make your own decision. Sweetened iced tea is not going to be great. Unsweetened would be great, or you could even do a sugar-free sweetener. Again, monk fruit is 0 calories. Stevia is 0 calories. You could do that. Your girl loves a milkshake. I will not deny. However, you can always do like a protein shake too. So, and this doesn't necessarily mean you need a protein powder. Just putting ingredients together that would make it more high protein. So like my protein shake would consist of, let's see, my spirulina powder, my bovine collagen powder, some creatine, boom, already better than your Starbucks BS, some natural fruit, and I say natural fruit because I'm not putting fruit juice in it. I'm using actual whole fruit. You can get it frozen or whatever works. And I like to do a little bit of arugula. I'll put some ginger in there for digestion. And depending on how I want it to be, I'll either do a soy milk, because Derry and I are still working on getting along, or we can do like a water mixture. A little bit of natural orange juice is good to sweeten it as well. And you can even add an egg or an egg white if that's safe for your gut and that works for you. You can also add cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt would be really good to add to your smoothies for protein, and if you don't want to use a protein powder. And Honey Bun, Mateo just brought up the fact that this is a huge thing that I just went over with my girls too, is we did a whole training, my one-on-one clients, on what to look for in your sugars. And the big problemo is falsified information on a label. And it's not falsified, it's misleading on purpose. There are a lot of maple syrups out there that, like, you know, Aunt Jemima, I forget what they're called now, Pearl Mining Company, or a few other brands that will call their syrups pancake syrup or, you know, breakfast syrup instead of calling it maple syrup, because there's not actually maple syrup in it. This is going to blow your mind. I need you to please look at the ingredients on your quote unquote maple syrup. So many maple syrups are actually maple flavored syrups that are just high fructose corn syrup that have maple flavor in it. So please just look at the ingredients and know what you're actually consuming. And yes, maple syrup is going to have a lot more sugar and a lot more calories than your typical like syrup, whatever that is. But you're going to need a lot less of it because it's naturally sweet. And you can always do a sugar-free maple syrup. They have a way of figuring that out. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what they did, but that's a good option. I digress. Yeah. Here's the thing too. I want to talk to you guys about your coffee creamer because WTF are we doing with coffee creamer? I want you to ask yourself, if you were making your coffee in the morning, would you put your coffee, some milk, some sugar, and some sunflower oil and some xanthan gum, or would you just leave out the oil? You probably would. So why are you getting a coffee creamer that has all that BS and oil and gums in there? Riddle me that. Take a look at your coffee creamer. You're better off using milk or heavy cream, or even a protein shake is a good creamer. This is, wow, I've been yapping a long time. This is a lot longer than I wanted it to be. But here's some alcohol alternatives for you too. Regular beer for light beer, so like Mich Ultra, Bud Light Next, whatever light beer, I don't know. I don't usually drink, so we're trying here. Margaritas, you could do a skinny margarita, which will have, oh shoot, I forgot the ingredient. I never bartended. But anyway, you could do tequila with lime, soda water, and a sugar-free sweetener, or even a little bit of sugar. You won't die. You'll be fine. You can even garnish it with an orange and like squeeze the orange juice into it. That's a good one. Instead of doing a cocktail with literally any syrup, like a daiquiri or a lemon drop martini, instead what you could do is do hard liquor and then just like do it with lime, or a flavored sparkling water is a great way to go about that too. Instead of wine, I don't want to poop on wine. Wine is going to have more calories, so if you are trying to be less calorie, a wine spritzer is going to be better because it'll have wine and sparkling water in it, so it'll just dilute it a little bit. But you could also just make sure you're getting a drier wine, right? Like your Riesling or your Moscato, or especially your pink Moscato, is going to have a lot more sugar. So just keep in mind. Hard seltzers. Yeah, they're probably not going to be the best option, but a sugar-free, low-carb seltzer. There's certain kinds of White Claws that have this. I forget those new brands, like High Noon. Some of those are good options. And what you can do is, instead of like a rum and Coke, remember that the calories and sugar in the Coke still exist when you mix it with a drink. So instead of like a rum and Coke, you could do rum and diet, or a Zevia Cola, which again is that stevia soda. And I don't know if it's stevia or stevia, to be honest, but I'm saying stevia. And instead of like a creamy cocktail, like a White Russian, or dare I say a pina colada, I'm sorry to break your heart, but yes, a pina colada does have a lot of calories. It's got coconut cream or coconut milk in there. You could easily do like a protein shake with a little bit of rum, which sounds disgusting to me, but if that's your thing, do it. Or just have like half of one instead of a whole one. Live a little. Okay. I've been yapping for a hot minute. Here's another thing. Thank you, Mateo, because I was aghast to learn that tonic water also has 30 grams of sugar in tonic water in a can. I don't understand how that happens, because I don't know what I thought tonic water was, but tonic water has half the amount of sugar that a soda has. So just keep that in mind. Okay, that pretty much wraps us up. So I think let's just do a recap. Top 5 swaps, I would say, if you're trying to lose body fat and you want to do lower calories but higher protein, swapping out one whole egg for a few egg whites is going to be a great option. Swapping out your sour cream for Greek yogurt. Cooking your rice in a bone broth is a great option. Making sure you're getting those lower fat meats like 90-10 or 96-4 instead of an 80-20. Getting freshly sliced deli meats is a big thing. Protein pasta is going to help you out a lot. And making your own sweet treats at home, like your banana split chocolate bark, is going to help. Melted dark chocolate for magnesium, Greek yogurt, and whatever fruit you like. Cool? That's all I've got for you today. Actually, does anybody have any questions? I don't think I saw any questions in here. I will leave like 10 seconds for someone to ask a question, and then we'll go. No pressure. Going once. Going twice. All right, gang. Good chat. This was supposed to be 10 minutes and it was 30. Shocker. I like to yap. Good to see you, and I hope this was helpful, and let me know. You can comment on this. This will be posted back to my page. Let me know what else you want to see. Peace.